Just an hour before my sister-in-law's wedding, I went into labor. My mother-in-law confiscated my phone and locked me in the bathroom, insisting I delay the birth so as not to overshadow my sister-in-law's big day and steal her spotlight. Several hours later, I awoke in the hospital with my mother-in-law pleading with me not to press charges. Her face paled considerably when my husband, Rick, 30, announced that we, myself, 29, had been blessed with a daughter, May, 2 weeks prior. This is our first child, and we are naturally overjoyed. Life has been hectic as we navigate the challenging transition into parenthood. We haven't had much support due to the events surrounding May's birth. The day of May's arrival was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, a memory that continues to haunt me. Not even the joy of May's birth can fully erase the terror I felt that day. I believe I might not be here if it weren't for my husband's intervention. Despite this horrific incident, a part of me feels we should be lenient, considering it involved family, and May is the first grandchild. However, my judgment is clouded by hormones and the demands of caring for a newborn, so I'm turning to Reddit for guidance. This is a complex story with several key players, so please bear with me. Rick has 2 younger sisters, Anna, 28, and Emma, 24. I have a positive relationship with both of them, and I don't believe there's any ill will between us. We aren't incredibly close due to our busy careers and infrequent opportunities to meet. Emma lives in a different city, but we try to stay connected through texts and calls. Another important figure in Rick's family, and in this story, is my mother-in-law, Rachel, 53. While my relationship with Anna and Emma is good, my relationship with Rachel is strained. I suspect she has issues with more than just me. She's a controlling individual who insists on having things her way. Her children generally comply with her wishes, as she raised them single-handedly after their father left. They try to simplify their lives, and hers, by avoiding conflict. Anyone who challenges her desires faces repercussions ranging from sulking and disapproval to full-blown tantrums. She's difficult, so I maintain my distance. Rick understands and allows me to handle the situation as I see fit. I try to empathize with his feelings towards her, despite her controlling nature. Our arrangement works for everyone involved, as she doesn't interfere in my life. However, things escalated 2 weeks ago due to her actions, which I doubt anyone can forgive. On the day May was born, Anna was getting married. It was a beautiful ceremony, and her husband, Jonah, 30, is actually Rick's friend. He proposed about a year ago, and Anna had initially asked me to be a bridesmaid, which I accepted. When I became pregnant, around 3 months after the proposal and 6 months before the wedding, I had to step down. I was apprehensive about telling Anna, worried it would damage our relationship. To my surprise and relief, she was thrilled about the pregnancy and readily understood my situation. She even considered postponing the wedding so I could attend, which wouldn't have worked as May might have been born then. Ultimately, that didn't happen, and thankfully so, but she provided unwavering support throughout my pregnancy. Emma became the maid of honor, and I tried not to bother the sisters with my difficult pregnancy as they planned the wedding. Both remained in contact and offered considerable support. I still feel a pang of guilt for not being there for Anna on her special day, especially given her support for me. The only person upset about the situation was my mother-in-law. I assumed she was annoyed by the disruption my stepping down caused to the wedding plans, which seemed understandable. However, her animosity persisted even after Anna accepted the situation. The bride wasn't bothered, but Rachel began antagonizing me. I dismissed it, attributing it to hormones and wedding stress. I ignored her as much as possible, and things were relatively calm until the wedding day, which spiraled out of control. I was 9 months pregnant. My feet were swollen, my belly enormous, and I felt faint. But I attended Anna's wedding because she wanted me there. I had previously expressed my concerns about diverting attention from her on her special day due to my advanced pregnancy. Weddings are about the bride and groom, and I didn't want to detract from that. Anna was hurt and offended by my suggestion, insisting she didn't care about the spotlight. She simply wanted her family present. She's direct, so I knew she was sincere. I felt obligated to be there for her, despite my physical discomfort. Admittedly, there were whispers, but I ignored them, focusing on Anna's happiness at my presence. Rachel glared at me throughout the event, but I was too uncomfortable to care. I lacked the energy to address her passive-aggressive behavior. Then came the incident that shocked and terrified everyone. Just before the ceremony, I felt unwell and went upstairs, hoping to feel better. Unbeknownst to me, Rachel followed. Feeling sweaty and strange, I went to the bathroom and my water broke. Panic set in. Although I love my daughter dearly, her timing couldn't have been worse. I saw Rachel and urgently told her to call Rick so we could get to the hospital. She helped me sit down, and I handed her my phone. Then she changed completely. She declared she would ensure Rick arrived in an hour after the ceremony to avoid stealing Anna's thunder. I was incredulous. I tried to grab my phone back, but she locked me in the bathroom and left with my phone. There I was, in labor, trapped in a bathroom with no phone or husband. Miraculously, I didn't have a panic attack. I struggled to the door, banging and screaming, but everyone was downstairs for the ceremony, and no one heard me. I screamed until my voice gave out, convinced I was going to die along with my baby. Exhausted, soaked in sweat, and voiceless, I passed out. I woke up in the hospital with a sobbing Rick beside me. It took a moment to orient myself. Seeing him cry, I feared the worst. Then a nurse entered with a baby girl, and I felt immense relief. I wanted to scold Rick for the scare, but he explained he was simply relieved I was alive, as I was unconscious when he found me. Holding my daughter for the first time was an unparalleled feeling of joy. Rick spared me the details initially, for which I'm grateful. I overheard commotion outside and learned it was Rachel, wanting to see her granddaughter. I recounted her actions, how she endangered our daughter, and stated I would never allow her near May. Rick already knew. Rachel had confessed everything after he discovered me. He declared his mother was dead to him and planned to press charges for endangerment. Hearing this was a tremendous relief. I know he loves his mother, but what she did was unforgivable. He then allowed Rachel in. She begged me not to press charges. Her face drained of color when Rick announced May's birth 2 weeks prior. He reiterated his intention to pursue legal action. She left, defeated. I still believe we should be somewhat lenient given the family connection, but I'm unsure. My hormones and new responsibilities are clouding my judgment, hence my plea to Reddit for advice. He loves his mother, they all do. But her actions, which nearly cost my daughter and me our lives, were unforgivable. Had Rick chosen his mother over me, our marriage would have been over. I had a nagging fear he might, despite everything, given how hard she worked to raise them. His unwavering support surprised and deepened my love for him. I asked about the wedding. Rick laughed, saying Anna was beaming with pride and joy. She considered May's birth the perfect wedding gift and was thrilled her whole family was present, including May. I was deeply touched. He called them, and soon Anna, Emma, and Jonah arrived, still in their wedding attire. Anna insisted on a wedding photo with her niece. I sobbed. It was such a heartwarming moment. I apologized to Anna for disrupting her day, but she insisted I had made it perfect. I told them about Rachel's behavior since the pregnancy announcement, and they felt I should have informed them sooner so they could intervene. I hadn't wanted to cause trouble, but Emma assured me any trouble was acceptable if it ensured my safety. Their words brought tears to my eyes. They truly considered me family. Rachel was still outside. Anna informed her on the way in that we would press charges. Rachel wanted to see May, but I refused. Anna stressed the importance of protecting ourselves from her. She apologized for not addressing her mother's overprotective tendencies and clarifying her support for my pregnancy, suggesting this might have prevented the incident. I reassured her she wasn't at fault. Meanwhile, Rick spoke with his mother outside. A few days later, after being discharged, Rick recounted the conversation. He informed Rachel he would press charges and that her pleas would change nothing. He forbade her from May's life, stating she wasn't a grandmother in any capacity. He explained that she had endangered our lives over a perceived slight that didn't even concern her. He also drastically reduced his financial contributions to her. She lived off Rick and Emma's money. She broke down, claiming she'd slaved away for her children and didn't deserve this. Rick acknowledged her sacrifices but emphasized they didn't grant her control over their lives. He'd excused her behavior for years, but he wouldn't anymore. She had crossed a line and proven herself unsafe. Anna overheard Rachel telling Rick she understood why Anna didn't want me at the wedding, stealing the spotlight. Anna furiously confronted her mother. We are proceeding with the case, although Rick is handling it due to my newborn responsibilities. None of the siblings are speaking to Rachel. Anna has cut her off entirely. Emma only communicates when necessary, and we are no contact. I suspect Rachel genuinely intended to protect Anna, however twisted her logic. I pity her, as her plan backfired spectacularly. Part of me wonders if they should reconcile, but I know Rick is furious. Update 1. Reconciliation is off the table indefinitely. Being a new mom has kept me busy. May is almost 8 weeks old, and we're overjoyed. Anna and Jonah have been incredibly helpful. Emma calls daily. May is the center of everyone's attention. There's been no contact with Rachel. I convinced Rick to drop the charges. We have too much on our plate, and it wouldn't be productive. Rick was reluctant, but he agreed. He received a furious call from Rachel demanding access to May and threatening legal action to obtain grandparent rights. She claimed I was manipulating Rick and turning him against her. Rick laughed and informed her we were documenting everything for our case. She hung up. Rachel then contacted Anna, making similar accusations. Anna blocked her. It seems Rachel isn't giving up. I'm apprehensive and uncertain about the future. My husband Rick and I finally decided to get a restraining order against his mother. He was hesitant, but we were both too exhausted to deal with any more drama. We informed her last week, and while she seemed grateful, it's hard to tell with her. She's truly unstable and revealed her true nature last week. Around 1 a.m. last week, Rick and I were awakened by aggressive pounding on our door. Fearing a break-in, I hid with our daughter May, while Rick answered. I heard yelling, but I stayed hidden to keep May asleep. It was Rick's mother, acting completely irrational, demanding to see May, and claiming we were keeping her away. Rick had to threaten calling the police to get her to leave. She was physically trying to force her way inside. We immediately contacted his sisters, Anna and Emma, to share our concerns. The following day, she sent a disturbing text message accusing us of being cruel and punishing her for simply being a mother. The message devolved into a rambling, paranoid rant about raising her 3 children and having to prioritize their needs. She claimed she felt obligated to do the same on May's birthday, not wanting May to overshadow Anna's wedding. She conveniently ignored the fact that May was still unborn, and Anna herself had repeatedly stated she was fine with the pregnancy and wedding coinciding. While I could somewhat grasp this part, her next statements were truly unsettling. She expressed fear that May would diminish her importance in her children's lives. She admitted to expecting Anna to be upset about my pregnancy, assuming that's how any normal woman would react. Our collective happiness about both the wedding and the baby bothered her. She essentially resented our family unity and wished we were envious and competitive with each other. She confessed to hoping Anna would resent us due to May's due date being close to the wedding, and that May wouldn't be the center of attention. However, that didn't happen, and everyone remained focused on May's arrival. She felt disrespected, claiming a baby who hadn't even been born had replaced her as the unifying force among her children. She continued ranting, but I had Rick block her before she could finish. I told him she was unstable and a danger to us. I've had a constant headache since reading those messages. The idea of a woman over 50 competing with a 7-week-old baby is absurd. I'm done making excuses for her. She can go to hell. We forwarded the messages to Anna and Emma, who were also disturbed. They suspected a manic episode, and Emma flew down to have their mother evaluated. While I agreed with this decision, I distanced myself from the situation. This level of crazy was beyond my tolerance. Update. We now have a restraining order against Rick's mother. While she hasn't attempted anything further, we're remaining cautious. Emma took her for testing and consultations with a psychologist and psychiatrist. Surprisingly, the results were normal. She was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, but nothing that explained her behavior. The doctor recommended therapy. Emma has since gone no contact, stating she's willing to help with a genuine illness, but not with ingrained hatefulness. I completely understand and agree. I might have felt some sympathy if there had been a psychiatric diagnosis, but knowing this is simply who she is, reconciliation is impossible. May's safety is paramount, and her grandmother has proven herself twice to be a threat, especially considering her specific animosity towards May. We must be extra vigilant to prevent any contact. This will likely be my final update, and I hope I never have to share anything more about this ordeal.